Welcome back. Next episode. This is apparently the interesting one. We chop it in half. First up, rear quarters. You know the score? Mark the spot welds, drill them out. 7 in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Didn't need that. 7. Notice no longer a huge massive drill. Got some new shiny tools, compressor and some air tools. Much better, much easier, better access. I have to say, I'm loving the air tools, much better than before. There we are, first section free. Now time for the grinder, and we'll hack it off. And now we've got a little bit more room, we'll remake the flanges. Tool, finger sander. I love this finger sander. Makes the work much easier. Every time I cut something, I will put on some X primer. I do this as I don't really know how long this is going to take and how long a cut is going to sit there, so I don't want it to start to rust, and grind it back off later before I weld. Quick check with a magic cardboard. Are we in the right region? Looks like it. Job done. Do you want to see all that again? I think not. So as if by magic, done. And onto the floor. Just cutting the minimum amount out at this point. just want to cut enough so I can move the two halves together once I've separated them. They'll overlap a lot, but I can then cut them at a later date where I see fit. Again, don't want to see the same thing, as if by magic a hole appears. So, this is what I cut out, and they are crusty. It seems everywhere where there's a seam on this car, sort of factory seam, they've generally blown and got rust in. So I think a lot of the seams are going to have to be redone. But yeah, happy to get these out of the car for sure. Now I had to do a little bit of work on these sections. This is where the jack strengthening was. There you go. So they had to be unpicked, drilled, tidied up. Same for the other side. Although this one is a bit more testy. As you can see, the metalwork was a little bit thin, so we put a repair patch in, ready for the B-pillar. Speaking of the B-pillars, they're next. 3 spot welds down here. Surprisingly, none on the other side, the front side of the B-pillar. I'll show you that in a little bit later. Inside of the B-pillar, 4 more spot welds. Also a little seam weld to cut out. So I'm quite surprised how little is holding these bottom of these B-pillars on. I think there's 7 spot welds and the seam weld, and that's it. There we go, first B-pillar detached. On to the next. And again, I'm sure you don't want to see all that faffing about, so as if by magic, second B-pillar detached. You see the first cuts are a little short. I'm doing that because, as I say, I'm going to overlap some flanges. So I'm going to make some flanges in the flat portion of the sills and then overlap these and plug weld them. Hopefully make things a little bit stronger. just a bit of tidy up of the seam now, and as I was saying before, this picture shows the front side of the B-pillar, and as you can see, it's not attached. There are no spot welds down this front side of the B-pillar. Now what I'm doing here is I found the floor is actually still connected to the back section of the shell, so I'm just relieving that at the minute, so that should detach the front from the back at this side. There you go, one final whack and it's free. Same procedure on the passenger side. Cut and fashion some flanges on the flat part sill. This side's got a bit out of shape with all the drilling, so we just need to give it a little dolly back into shape. Onto the tunnel. Again, we're just cutting out enough here so we can separate the front from the back and make sure we can slide the back up to the front. We'll tidy it all up and fabricate all the floor and the tunnel closing sections later. finally, the roof. Nothing smart about the roof, thankfully, because guess what? We didn't record it all. The battery ran out. But 4 straight chops. Job done. So it is in 2 halves currently. So we take the clamps off. Now we can move it. Just need to give it a little bit of persuasion to separate. What I will need to do, the idea once we've separated it, is to be able to push it together. We've cut everything correctly. All the flanges and edges should meet up pretty well. Now what I will need to do is, because the B-pillars are narrower at the bottom than further up, we'll need to tip this rear shell backwards a little bit, just so I can guide the sills through the wider portion of the B-pillars, and then hopefully they'll slide together. All this is pretty much real time as well. I hadn't cut it. As soon as I've persuaded it apart, I've tipped it up. Guided the rear sills through the B-pillars. Pushed it up to roughly where it should fit. As you can see, I've still not fashioned the flanges on the rear quarters. They need bending back, so at this point it's just a really rough fitment, and just stuck on the rear quarters there. Just get past those. Does it fit? Does it fit through? Does it push up? Does it look roughly right? Push it up as far as it'll go. And what's it look like? Pretty good. Pretty happy with that. So after that, I pulled it back apart, bent the flanges back on the rear quarters, and then pushed it further together. As you can see, that's a rough fit of the quarters. Doesn't look too bad. Pretty much as I expected it, or hoped it'd be. There we go. There I get plug welded. Just tap back and plug welded. That's the bottom of the B-pillar. Pretty much up to that mark. Not a bad fitment. It's the front sills. As you can see, they overlap a bit. It's not fully up together. Obviously a lot of work on that seam to do. From the inside, so you can see where the inside flange I've manufactured. There you go. So plug weld those. Seam weld the rest. Same on the other side. That's where the B-pillar lies. Pretty much exactly where I expected it to be. Now this is sitting a little bit proud, a little bit tall on the driver's side. That's because there's a little bit of interference with the floor and the sill. But anyway, once we cut a bit more of the floor out, we can rejig all that. So after all that, this is the entirety of what I had to cut to slide it together. Not much, is it? So, I suppose you could say that pile makes a Sport Quattro. Well, I think that's it for this episode. What's for the next episode? No idea. Tune in and find out. Cheers.